everybody knows who Jackie Robinson is, right? I mean, Christian.
Yeah.
Just kind of explained him. He just explained to y'all who he was, and he's known for like helping bring down racial barriers in sports. I mean, does anyone know who the first black players to play in the NFL were? I think I probably wouldn't be able to name them. But for some reason, these guys don't get as much respect and recognition as Jackie Robinson did. Even though they were able to make it into the NFL a full year before Jackie Robinson made it into Major League Baseball. I mean, if it wasn't for these guys, I mean, a lot of us probably wouldn't be able to play the sport today that we know and love. I'll be discussing some, like, who these men are, some of the things that they endured, and actually, this is Kenny Washington. He went to UCLA from 1936 to 1939. Moved on to play for the Los Angeles Rams in 1946. And he was actually the first black to sign a contract to an NFL team, inducted into the Hall of Fame in 1958. And if you notice, he didn't start playing for the Rams right out of college, and that's because when he attempted to go into the NFL, he was denied by the NFL owners. And so he wasn't able to get in until 1946 because of World War II, so like guys were being drafted, so there was a shortage of players. And after his retirement from the NFL, he became a police officer in Los Angeles, where he was born and raised. This guy, Woodrow Strode, he also went to UCLA, also played for the Los Angeles Rams. And he only played one season in the NFL, but he's more famous for being like an actor. And he was in about 67 movies. One of his more famous movies was Spartacus. I'm sure Mr. Kirkman probably knows about that. He's nominated for a Golden Globe Award. Mary Motley played for Nevada from 1941 to 43, and moved on to play for the Cleveland Browns in 1946. He didn't go into the NFL right away either, and that's because he actually did get drafted. So he actually spent a few years in the military before going into the NFL. And he was the second black player inducted into the Hall of Fame. He won about 5 championships with the Cleveland Browns, and he's famous for being the first black NFL running back to win all league honors. William Bill Willis, Ohio State to the Cleveland Browns as well. Him and Mary Motley were actually teammates, along with Kenny Washington and Woodrow Strode. And he was selected as an All-Pro every season and inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1971. He was extremely versatile, so he actually played offense and defense. And on offense, he played offensive line. Defense, he was a linebacker, and he's a great contributor to how modern day NFL linebackers played. And he's known for being the first black lineman to win the all league honors. That's a slideshow, but I mean, in conclusion, I've shown you that who these men are and some of their lasting impact, but some things that they endured during their time in the NFL, they were kind of the laughing stock of the league because they were so different from everyone else. And so a lot of times from fans and other players, they received threats and taunts. A lot of guys mess with them. And as you can see, they're not as popular as Jackie Robinson was, but they probably deserve as much recognition, as respect as he did, and they also deserve to be household names.
So, Eric, what did you think? Eric Lopez.
It was a very interesting topic. It's true what he said about how everyone focuses on Jackie Robinson. I'd actually heard of a couple of those guys before because Cleveland Browns were really the first team to sign black players, and then they eventually signed Jim Brown, who's probably the greatest running back of all time. It seemed like, Kourey, you knew what you were talking about, but you were hesitant sometimes. And I know you love football, and this should be coming out of your mouth really good. It seemed kind of short, I think, and I like the pictures and profiles of all the players, and very interesting, I thought.
Okay. All right. There are some things that I think are really solid here, and then there are a couple things that are a little bit problematic. I like the fact that you made reference to the previous speaker. We just had a speech that mentioned Jackie Robinson. I think that that's a good adaptation to make in this circumstance, and you also have to be a little bit flexible and think about this. Look, like you just said, and you said it there, everybody knows Jackie Robinson, but can you name the players who were in the NFL first, who were black, and they broke the color barrier in the NFL? And when you don't get that response, which is kind of strange because that actually happened a year before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier in baseball. So I think you've got a really good lead in there. It needs to be a little more polished, but it's an excellent attention device. Then what you need to do is have a little bit sharper statement about what your purpose statement is, because it seems to me like that's really what it's about. I want to introduce you to those 4 pioneers who did break the color barrier in Major League Sports a year before Jackie Robinson actually did, and then preview who those 4 players are that you're going to talk about. You don't really preview that. Now it's not hard to follow because we know it's player by player, and you got 4 that you're going to be talking about, and each one has their own slide, and you've got details on each of those. So it's not easy to get lost. We're going to know where you are. I think you use the visuals as a way to organize the speech also. Sometimes the transitions between the points needs to be a little bit smoother. There needs to be a story, we've been talking about the Los Angeles Rams, but let's travel 2,200 miles across the country to the Cleveland Browns, who actually started this, and they also had 2 of the players that we're talking about in this particular situation. I mean, something that makes it a little bit less like, here's the next slide and here's the next person. So it doesn't feel just like we're, like I said, a slideshow. Here's the next picture. I agree with Eric. I thought you picked good shots of all of the players. They seemed like they were interesting and up, and they're from that time period. There are 2 or 3 of them that are kind of action shots that are going on there. That works pretty well. I didn't realize that Woody Strode only played 1 season. I thought he had been in the league a little bit longer than that. But when you're an actor, gosh, you got to get all the good parts. You got to go work. By the way, Woody Strode from Glendora, California. My town, where I live. Not my hometown, but that's where I live now. All right.
I knew you probably would know who he was.
Oh, yeah. And his last movie was The Quick and the Dead, which came out in 1995. He plays the coffin maker. He's got like 2 lines. He was about 90 at that time. All right. Yes, and he and Kirk Douglas, they fight each other in Spartacus. That's it. If you've ever seen a clip of Spartacus, that's usually the scene that they show, is the 2 of them fighting. All right. And I kind of agree with Eric. I think that your pacing is a little bit off. It feels like you're going through it a little deliberately, a little slow, and you got to get some, like you said, you're a football guy. This is a subject you care about. You need to be a little bit more engaged as opposed to kind of lay back. I know it's morning. I know you're giving a speech. But come on, let's have some fun here. Let's enjoy what you're doing. Thank you.